Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Racing Unleashed, where we are here for our GT3 Championship, the first one in a 10-race series that is coming up your way. The challenges are no more, and it is time for a championship. 30 pros and 30 AMs will take to the grid in this fantastic series, in which each driver will have to qualify for throughout this period of the 10 weeks. So every driver is not guaranteed, as always, for every week. I'm your host, Matthew Duffin, bringing you tonight's action. Apologies for this fantastic race. We're here at the Nurburgring for what should be some brilliant racing. Like we said, we have got a stellar lineup for you. It is absolutely fantastic. But first of all, we can hear from a little hardware video from James Walker.
Is awesome. First of all, starting off with the tub, the chassis itself. This is actually handcrafted in Italy, and it's designed to simulate effectively what it's like to be in a single-seater environment. Now, when you lower yourself inside here, you are sitting in a real carbon seat, which is very trick indeed. Now, what self-respecting single-seater wouldn't have a removable steering wheel? This also carbon effect, real carbon shifters here, and there is a plethora of tech for you to learn as you go down the Racing Unleashed journey. Now, down there's a really trick pedal box. Once again, this is designed to simulate what a brake servo is like on a single-seater with high downforce. Really stiff, really reassuring, and you can actually adjust the pedal box itself to get your optimum feel. Now then, racing harnesses. This for me is my favorite feature. There is a retention system inside the shell itself which simulates G-force under heavy braking, and it can actually replicate up to 5 Gs of deceleration. It's super immersive, and when you try it for the first time, you can't believe how much it adds to the overall immersion of driving a single-seater. And then to tie it all together, down here at the back, we've got the hydraulic actuators, and this simulates the lumps and bumps, going over curbs, undulations, and just general movement of the car. All in all, it's one of the best simulator experiences you're going to find anywhere.
Thank you, James, for the update there on the new simulators. And we do have the brand new simulators. The version 2's coming later on in the year, ready for the Assetto Corsa Championship. But it is the iRacing platform we're on for this one tonight, and it is a brilliant stacked grid, like we said, and an absolute fantastic calendar that we can show you. It's got 10 races over the next couple of weeks, bringing us towards December as well, where you just look at some of them tracks: Road America, Hockenheim, the Daytona Road Course, Monza, Sport, Road Atlanta, Suzuka, Watkins Glen, and ending at Sebring. But today we are here at the Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit for what should be a fantastic piece of action in the GT3 cars, which are fantastic cars, and there's quite a few of them that the drivers will be able to pick from, and they cannot change car once they have chose their selected one, unless facing points deduction in that change. A lot of Ferraris out there, and obviously the new Ford Mustang and Chevrolet Corvette will be one to keep our eyes on if many people have picked them. The prize money, though, is also changed for this week. This is now the Pro prize money, the Racer League prize money if you are old-fashioned Racing Unleashed. €875, 625 for second, 375 for third, 250 for fourth, and €125 for fifth. That is not per race. That is for winning the championship. So no prize money on offer week after week. It is all about now being here for the season and making sure you get your hands on that prize money at the end of the championship when that comes around. And for the AMs, the Challenger League drivers, if you will, it is €500 for that race, for that championship win. 300 for second, 200 for third, 150 for fourth, and fifth place bags you €100 in that as well then. So it's going to be an interesting one to see who does what, because obviously that qualification period will open up as normal, so the drivers will have to set a qualification time to get into that top 30 and be on the track on race day. So you're not always guaranteed a spot. A race win today might not even be there with you on the grid for the next one. So it's all about being consistent and seeing what the drivers can do. What we do have as well is the look at the new format for this championship, and it will be the same format throughout each race. And we have a 100-minute practice session that the drivers have got 10 minutes left. Drivers have just come to an end to now, should I say. which follows by a 22-minute qualifying. I believe that's does say 30, so I'm sure it is 22 minutes qualifying though. It is 10 minutes per class, 12 minutes for the pros, for them to go around, 10 minutes for the AMs to go around, obviously, because when that 22 minutes is up, qualifying is done. So the AMs will take to the track first of all. Now, obviously, the drivers getting used to this format. You may see some of the pro drivers out there on the track, maybe just in that qualifying period. Now, they could face, action from the stewards or anything. We'll have to wait and see how this is going to play out, and it's for them to learn, obviously, the new format of qualifying into then that hour's race. Now, that hour's race comes as well with a mandatory pit stop in which the tanks, the fuel tank is only limited to 60%. So we reckon around about a 35-minute mark, around there is when we're going to start to see pit stops happen for these GT3 cars. Will they change the tyres or not? Who knows? In this one then, that's going to be the interesting one as well going forward. But we have behind my shoulder, you see the fantastic Nurburgring, the track guide that we can bring you here in Germany. It's a fantastic place to come racing. Obviously, the Nordschleife comes with this. It's very famous circuit, but we are at the Grand Prix layout today. We won't be doing the Nordschleife. In this one, as you come down that start straight, then you have that pretty much hairpin right-hander that you come straight to at turn 1, and this is a very tricky corner. We could see a few incidents there, hopefully not as the racing goes on. In towards then the Mercedes arena of turns 2, 3 and 4. Very tricky section to get right. A lot of corners. You just got to hurry up and wait to get on the power. As you exit that section, though, you manage to get to turn 5, the Valvoline curve, which comes down towards the, it sort of slopes downhill and away from you into turn 5. There you see, just going to the left, round turn 6, the Ford curve, bringing you still downhill towards that hairpin at the bottom of the circuit then, which is the Dunlop curve of turn 8. And this area is a very rewarding area, 6, 7 into 8. Chance to maybe get up the inside at the hairpin and have a look at the Dunlop curve. And a move up the inside, you want to slingshot yourself out of turn 8, because 9 and 10, the Schumacher S's, is a place you're not probably going to see a lot of overtaking, but a chance to get a good bit of momentum out of this part of the circuit and head down towards turn 11, where you can flick the car left. Overtaking opportunity up the inside. Maybe want to set yourself up for the next part of turn 12 as well. Very easy to get this one a little wrong and just drop a wheel onto the gravel on the outside, and then it is flat out downhill once again through turns 13 before you hit the uphill section, and you climb up towards the chicane. Now it is the Grand Prix chicane. We aren't using the other layout, the faster of the two chicanes, so it is the slower of the two, 14 and 15, before you come to turn 16, the Coca-Cola curve as it's known, round the final corner and down that start straight. You will go into what should be a fantastic lap. Now qualifying is currently underway, and it is the AMs who I believe are out there on the circuit, and the way to tell who is a pro driver and who is a AM driver is just above the windscreen, the banner above the windscreen. The AMs are a darker blue banner that you can see at the top middle of your screen, and the pros have that lighter blue banner as well as wing mirrors. So keep your eyes out for that. And there you see, look, the darker wing mirrors and darker banner above the windscreen to indicate that this is a AM driver. Now this is on board Neil Bamber at the moment, who is currently out there on a lap in his Ferrari 296, the 545 car, coming downhill once we said. And the privateer driver, no team to his name, will be looking to put this one in a good position. He comes up towards the chicane for the first time, currently on a flying lap at the moment, so it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. Obviously 10 minutes for these drivers to go. Francisco Lopez out there in the Lamborghini Huracan Evo as Zilke has gone provisional pole. Then it is Alexandru, the Romanian driver, to go provisional pole as well. Now Neil Bamber takes charge of that one. What can Francisco Lopez do as Luke Langer goes into P4? A couple of cars just in front. Ronaldo Carlos, the privateer, the Brazilian driver, goes P1. And now Close goes P2. Lopez goes into P3 as P1 as well. So provisional pole at the minute for Francisco Lopez. Varvan Varvinen has gone into P10. A couple of drivers now just finishing lap times. Maybe going for a second run here. And they'll be probably looking to make their second laps their quicker lap times then, as time still coming in across the board. And this is a bonus now. We've already got 16 lap times on the board, 17 now. These are all the AM drivers. We've got a heck of a lot of pro drivers to come as well. Here is Borja Zarzo. Looks like he's streaming to his Twitch platform. We've seen him do many times at the Racing Unleashed. Love how he races in a shirt. The driver from Madrid, many of you will know his face from the Racing Unleashed platform. Last time we saw Borja Zarzo win here at Racing Unleashed, it was back at the prologue at the start of last year. So he hasn't had a win for quite some time. He'll obviously be gearing up for the new season ahead on the Assetto Corsa platform, as well as this on iRacing. And he's going to be looking forward to this race today. Here is Kasper Tunstedt. He's yet to post a lap time that I see on the timing screens at the moment. And he is going to be one to keep an eye on in this session. A lot of names to scroll through. No, he's yet to set a lap time. There's still about 6 or 7 AMs that haven't set a lap time yet. And we're halfway through their allotted qualifying. So what can Kasper do? The privateer driver in the Porsche. A lot of the AMs picking the Porsches at the moment from what we can see out there. A few changes on that timing screen. Alexander has gone into P5. With Borja Zarzo now moving up into 7th place. As you can see, Porsche's heavily dominated, as is Ferrari. Lamborghini provisional pole. There is another Lamborghini down in 18th place, an Audi in 17th. As we now see Eno Verhavenen go into 2nd place. And 22 drivers now. Miguel Beltran moves up to 15th place. Wesley Cates goes P5 at the moment. And drivers still out there on lap time. So things happening out there on the circuit. Lap times improving. A couple of drivers in the pits. Louis Hesketh moves into 21st. Down the order. A lot of Porsches, a lot of Ferraris. That seems to be the dominant car, but it's a Lamborghini front row at the moment. The first BMW of Angel Almaraz goes into 22nd place. And that is one of the Ferraris, just a little wide, bailing out of everybody's way so that drivers can continue on their fast laps. He might be on an outlap himself. This is on board with John Jennings, the Australian driver. Coming in towards turns 5 and 6 and 7. Down towards the hairpin he goes now. So just a couple of minutes left then in this AM qualifying, and 26 runners, so 4 short of the qualified drivers in that top 30 today. Great showing from the AMs here to get this one going. This is still then on with, this is now Jan Serrani. 16th place in his 296. And braking into the chicane, heavy braking zone. Use as much of them curbs as you can. Run it out wide, not too much though, because that curb does lift as you come towards it. And they get a great slingshot exit out of that final corner. Again, using that little bit of runoff behind the curb to go across the line. And Serrani stays P17 for the time being. He will get one more running, or should possibly get this final lap in. Here is Kalberg down the order. He's bailed on this lap, and if he's going to go for the next one, he's probably not set himself in the best position. Neither has the Ferrari. Poor bit of track management maybe from them two drivers there, just to get that throttle down and get away. I'm not sure who the red Ferrari is on screen. I can't see it on my time screen who he was on then. This is Angel Almaraz and in the BMW M4. Coming into that Mercedes-Benz section now, 24th at the moment, 1.5 seconds off the pole, so pretty close in this qualifying. A second separates the top 14 drivers. So that is fantastic. 13 drivers, apologies. It's absolutely fantastic qualifying at this moment in time. Puff of smoke there. from the car in front. A couple of drivers now returning to the pit lane. That'll be their session done, as I believe they can finish this lap before they start, before they need to return to the pit lane. This now is on board with your current pole sitter in the AM category, Francisco Lopez, who is 0.4 of a second clear. He's got a good gap out front. It's really from second down where the gap is close. Duffner moves up into 13th. So just putting another car within that second. Jan Duffner, the German driver, in the Porsche. Now for Lopez into the final corner. Wide entry, tucks it in, grabs the apex, pulls out down the start straight now. Is he going to improve on his final run? He does not know. And that'll be him returning to the pit lane. As now we're starting to see some of the pros come out onto the circuit as the drivers are finishing the last laps. The Audi driver there moving up into P20. That is Kalboik moving into P20. I'm not quite sure on the nationality of him. Never seen that flag before in front of my timing screen, so not sure where he's from. Ronaldo Carloso in the Ferrari moves up to second place, just under 3.5 tenths. Here comes the Porsche of Mirko Fincato and stays P19. No improvement there. 2 tenths down on his last lap. We're seeing the AM drivers now return to the pit lane. And we should be seeing some of the pro drivers now take to the track. I am looking at the time screen. There was one AM driver that didn't actually get a qualifying lap in. That was Jason Friday, not out on the circuit. He didn't get a qualifying lap in there. And this is on board the New Zealander of Zach Rattery White. Late. Oh, to be early morning for the Kiwis and the Aussies. There's Nicholas Laubish here. Seen him a few times in a few events in his Lamborghini. Now, in the pro categories, we have got a Corvette. There is a Ford Mustang as well, so a couple of cars worth keeping eyes on. A lot of traffic at the moment. They're not gapping each other as much as I thought they would to try and get a clean run through. And there is still a couple of the AM drivers out there on the circuit who are coming through this final corner. The 570 you see on the track map, that is Alexei Partanen is behind this gaggle of cars coming up to them now as one of the drivers pulls into the pits. Was that an AM driver? I'm not too sure, but the pros now starting to go away, and here is Nicholas Laubish down towards turn 1. Did he give himself enough of a gap? The sunglasses are on, so he's feeling cool and calm today. Can he put it on pole position though in this qualifying? As at the moment we are still getting Alexei Partanen and Francisco Lopez as out there on the circuit. Laubish at the minute now coming in towards turn 4. Through he goes. Use as much of that first curb as you can. Bring it out wide. Gareth Higgins here as well. He's looks like he's bailed on his lap already. Now an off-track will probably invalidate that lap. Now look at this. The Ford Mustang in all its glory with Eric Rosseth in the car. Down through the Dunlop curve. Big piece of machinery that. And the Ford Mustang, great to see here on the iRacing platform. Coming through, just dropped a wheel on the gravel there. It's not going to hurt his lap too much, but it'll lose a small bit of time. As Lopez now into the pits, but Partanen still circulating, we do believe. And here comes the... is this... I'll see as the name comes across the line. Not quite sure we're on board with. We was on board with Hugh Barter there, the Apex Racing team driver, who goes and puts it on provisional pole, pull straight to the inside line. The Australian driver, Zach Rattery White, goes P2 with Lucas Prada into 3rd place now. So we're starting to see some of these times. It's going to be interesting to see if the any of the AMS's times will come up and beat some of the pro drivers. Sinan Demirbas into P8. Angelo Mikel as well, used to seeing him on the Racing Unleashed platform. He's gone P5 at the moment. Vlad Tokarev, returning face, he's P10, dropping down the order. David Barker moves into 8th place now as well, who we're on board with. Nicholas Laubish, P5, so a decent opening lap for Laubish here. Now we're starting to see who is going to do what. Interesting to see they have one push lap and then look like they bring it back. And Waiting will go again. Here is Lucas Prada, the Czechia driver. Currently P4 at the moment. Half a second off that provisional pole from Hugh Barter, the Apex Racing team, on that provisional pole position at the moment. If you're wondering what separates the pros from the AMs, it is the I rating. 4,500 or greater I rating is what you qualify as a pro driver. Anything less than 4,500, then you are a AM driver. I was being told something in my ear there, but I lost all sound of that. And it was coming through the other headset. So I didn't manage to get a word of that from my producer there. But as Prada comes through the final corner, and he's going to start one more lap. And he's going to come down the start-finish straight here, and he's now going to start yet another one. He does improve, and he goes P2. He's now just under a tenth and a half off the back of Barter there then. As Ericsson's P3 at the minute. Valverde moves up into 9th place. And so far we have a few drivers just exiting the pits again, going for another lap. Drivers starting laps as well. So drivers then coming back out of the pit lane onto the circuit, and this is going to be an interesting one. A few drivers are going to bail back in. As that is Gabriel, who's moved into P2. The British driver in the Ferrari, so it's a Ferrari top 8 before Nicholas Laubish's Lamborghini down in P9. Currently on board with Marcus Valverde, again another face that you might be familiar with here at Racing Unleashed, down in 14th. He's currently coming through the Dunlop curve at the bottom end of the circuit before climbing back uphill. This is Langer, Johan Langer, in the Audi, P20 overall at the moment, the the Audi driver, privateer. Interesting to see that Francisco Lopez's time is good enough for 15th overall and puts him ahead of a couple of pro drivers as there's a spin for the Audi. We go back now to 2nd place. Gabriel out there on the circuit. Alessandro goes into P15, knocking Lopez down a spot. A few drivers on an outlap already, so coming back out of the pits. These guys, these pros, have a little more time to their name to get laps on the board. Just a minute to get that 22 minutes. The session will be over. Prada pulls into the pit lane from P3. And he's now going to return again, so he's on an outlap. So drivers just returning to the box and trying to carry on their way. They're on board though with Ferguson, the American driver, in his Audi. WSR Esports butt kicker. Fantastic name. He looks like he's bailed on that lap. Looks like he's going to go again. Preparation lap here for Van der Niese. Claessens towards the line. Any improvement for him? No, stays down in 23rd. That was an outlap. So he's going to go again. He's going to try and get into that top 20 area, maybe above 17th for Francisco Lopez to be, you know, ahead of the AMs fully. Is there anybody in the pros that hasn't qualified yet? Just going to scroll down on my timing screen in front of me. There is still a few pros. Yeah, there's still 3 pros yet to qualify. Zain Khan, Nils Buchhage and Tim Kern yet to qualify in this one at the moment. So this is going to be an interesting one. Here's Angelo Mikel in his Porsche, stays P12 at the moment. Starts one more lap though. We'll get the chance to finish the lap he's on. Privateer driver. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do out there. Not many improvements coming up on the timing screens on the bottom of your screen at the moment. You see there Everybody not improving. Valverde's gone green in sectors 1. No improvement throughout the rest of the last. It could be a small improvement on his lap. I doubt it very much so at the moment, though, with how many sectors are yellow. As Mika in P6, the Finnish driver, has gone personal best for a couple of sectors there. He's just got one more to do. Vlad Tokrev down in 13th place. Could be an interesting one to keep our eyes on him. Valverde did not improve, stays P17. Pennington, he's on a good lap. He's on a much better lap for P14 at the moment. Let's keep our eyes on Pennington. We're also on Higgins. He's down on his lap time. Oh, I say he's down. He's no personal best at all. Pennington currently 14th place. He's the man who is coming through the field. Can he move inside that top 10? Personal best all the way throughout. And goes from P14 up to P7. 4/10 off the pole. But the pole man is purple in the end. And Barter there does improve on his lap time. A 53.972. Great lap time from him. Ericsson, I believe, also improved up to P4 at the end. Here is Zach Rattery-White, P5 so far. A couple of green sectors there. That's going to improve his time. He stays P5. Van der Niese goes up to 7th place. Jorge Garcia, I think, moved up the order as well to 8th. So now towards the depth of this qualifying, we're starting to see these lap times improve here. Angelo Mikel, P14, moves himself up to P12. Eric Rossith, 24th. David Barker's the next man. We're on board with Ferguson. And now looking at Laubish, who was green sectors 1 and 2. At that 22-minute mark, the qualifying will just finish here. So if you're on a lap, you really need to get this done. Sinan Demirbas is out there, green through the first 3 sectors. Here comes Laubish at the minute. Green, then no personal best through the next 2. And he goes across the line and up into P7. So a good lap from him. Marcus Valverde is down on his time, just waiting for Sinan Demirbas, who I believe is down on his side. It'll be him done. And that is, I believe, all she's going to write for qualifying. That is the session done and brought to an end. Nicholas Laubish here, P7 overall. But what a qualifying it was. And it was Hugh Barter there, the Apex Racing team, taking that pole position for the pros. At the start of this one, Francisco Lopez, 22nd overall, but pole position for the AM category as well. Fantastic place for him to be in. And we will be able to bring you the full qualification order as we get it to you in a few moments' time. Here we go then. Hugh Barter, the Apex Racing team driver, P1 from Gabriel in P2. Lucas Prada, P3 from Kim Eriksson, P4. Zach Rattery-White is P5. Mika in P6. Nicholas Laubish, P7 from Luke Pennington, P8. Jorge Garcia from Lewis Woods. Gareth Higgins, and then Angelo Mikel rounding out the top 12. Alex is P13 from Stefson Ash, I believe, in P14. 15th place for Vlad Tokrev, Daniel Ferguson in P16. P17 goes away of Chris van der Niese with Christian in P18. Marcus Valverde down in 19th place, David Baker P20. Alessandro Torcio is P21. Francisco Lopez, and pole position for him is P22. Sinan Demirbas 23 with Eric Rosseth 24th. 25th place then at the moment for Justin Claessens with 26th, going the way of Johan Langer. Eno Vahaven, P27. Ronaldo Carlos, Aleski Partanen, Alexandru from Neil Bamber. Alvaro Valerk in P20. I've lost my round now. P33, sorry. Neil Bamber 34th, Borges Otto 35, and Adrian Perde P36. Casper Tunstad 37, Jan Duffner 38th, David in P30 now with Hendrik Zalike P40, Matthias 41st from Miguel Beltran, 43rd for Jan down the order of the Finnish drivers, and you saw the names at the bottom. A lot of names to go through as the safety car pulls into the pits. It will be a rolling start, and we will take the green light now as the drivers come to the line, and that is already a great start from the pole sitter, who has managed to tuck in front of the other drivers, get in front of the pack and pull away. Down the hill they come. Very cloudy overhead here. It is becoming the race. A few bumps on the rear of a couple of 296 Ferraris there. down in towards turn 1. Got to be careful. No spinners coming through the order. So far, so good for everybody as they took through. And there is a good amount of cars on this circuit. There is 58 to be precise, and not one of them has dropped it through turn 1. But it is Hugh Barter, the man who leads the way through turns 1 and the Mercedes arena of 2, 3 and 4. And a couple of cars now already trying to exchange positions. This is Van der Niese in the Porsche, who is looking on the outside line of the Ferrari down through turn 6 and 7. They go towards the Dunlop curve. Here is Justin Claessens at the moment coming down towards the Dunlop curve in the Ferrari on the outside of the Lamborghini of, I believe that is Lopez, the leader in the AM category. Great start from every driver, all through nice and cleanly. Everybody's away well. Duffner here in 11th place in class, obviously. Having a look up the inside, an hour's race they've got to go. And they're in the top middle of your screen, the race leaders for each category that we are bringing you here. 60-minute race, so it is a long race to go here. Plenty of chances. There's a Ferrari on the grass, just maybe getting a little eager to get past a couple of cars, and that has lost him a bit of momentum. Down the hill he goes towards the flat-out right-hander, up towards the chicane. Still a few cars side by side here. This is Sergio Durant in the Audi, watching the Porsche and the Ferrari go side by side through the chicane. Raphael Winter, the man in the Porsche, losing out there to the Ferrari 296, and could be losing out to Sergio here, who's up the inside round the final corner. Does the Audi have what it takes to get the move done? Not at the moment. The Ferrari ahead, just rubbing on the rear there of the BMW. And now he's going to look up the inside of the next Ferrari as well. Sergio's going to try and look up the inside. Almaraz in the BMW, who just got a little roughed up by the red and black Ferrari 296. Back to the front though. Hugh Barter is away, has already got a decent gap in this race. 0.8 of a second is the gap. And he's doing a good job over that of Gabriel at the moment in P2. Here's Lucas Prada, P3 at the moment, sitting pretty comfortably. It's all early doors as well at the moment in this race, only just 3 minutes into it. Gareth Higgins, 10th place, late on the brakes, tried to close up to that Porsche with Angelo Michel in front. And a no-go there for him. As they come into the Schumacher S's for the second time, back down the field in the AM category. This is Casper Tunstad in P10 in AM. There's a Porsche just taken to the grass. Not sure who that is, it's Jan Duffner. Goes across the Schumacher S's there, not sure what happened. And raising his hand, not sure what has happened there. He took to the grass, was very slow to rejoin as well, so it's not like he's straight line and cut the corner. Clearly an issue. Adrian now in the black Porsche, just trying to fend off Tunstad behind him. This is for P9 and 10 in class at the moment in the AM category. As Adrian coming through in towards that final corner. And through he goes, up the order once again. This is Christian down in 15th place, up in 15th place. He's gained 3 spots. Gonna have to cover that inside line, which he doesn't well. The Porsche of Van der Niese is having a little look at him in towards turn 2. Maybe that's why he didn't feel the need to cover turn 1 off too much there, as Christian manages to hang on. Has the Porsche's gone underneath for 3? No, it hasn't. Christian can carry on his way. And I believe we can show you a few replays now. This is the start of the race down in towards turn 1. Through turn 2 then to the replays of the start. Everybody threw absolutely cleanly. It was a brilliant getaway, I say, until we saw that happen. One of the 296ers backwards there. This is on board the car behind him. You just see the blue one on the outside, just gave him a bit of a tap on the rear quarter panel, and he went round. This is the red and black Ferrari we saw. Oh, did he just drive into the side of that whiter Ferrari at turn 2? We saw he was a bit aggressive with the BMW at the final couple of corners and down the start straight, so Bit of contact there. Race control will obviously take a look at that one. Here is Lucas Prada, down 2 spots into P5 at the moment. He's currently driving a good race so far. Plenty of time though. He's down 2 spots, but a lot of time in this race. The pit stop to manage as well. So it's who can do what in this race. As Lewis Woods is up 6. The Scotsman, Team PGZ, is at home looking to try and get on the back of Ericsson here for that final podium spot. Is Zach Rattery-White for Vermilion Esports. Again, another car just on the back of another Ferrari. He has a look up the inside. It was just a little peek to see if there was an opportunity to get the move done over Higgins, but not close enough at the moment. Mikel just ahead of Higgins as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what strategy plays out for these drivers in this race. Through the Mercedes arena they come. Down in towards the tricky but rewarding section if you get it right. Easy to just run a little wide at parts and drop a wheel over the curb. The curbs are quite raised here, which could just unsettle the car a little bit. You just see there, look. And for Francisco Lopez, currently doing an amazing job. 0.8 of a second lead over that of Eno in second place in the Lamborghinis. And has he just been tapped round? And now he's got to stay stationary. If he can roll it back now safely, he can, and does so into the slip road. Now, was he tapped round there by one of the pros? A little naughty coming out of the Dunlop curve. Hopefully we can bring a replay of what happened there. But for Francisco Lopez, who had a comfortable lead with a pro driver in between him and second place, spun around, and now Angelo Mikel up into 9th, looking to try and get on the back of Ash in front of him. Still though, with Higgins and Rattery-White on the rear, it's just about biding your time and getting that chance when it rises. Don't need to do anything silly at the moment. Angelo Mikel did well in the Racer League last year. He'll obviously be returning in the Assetto Corsa platform later on. Vlad Tokarev's had a moment somewhere. He's tumbled down the order. He's down 7 places, down to 22nd in class. He's just ahead of the AM leader now, so not sure what happened. He looked pretty slow out the final corner. Saw Vlad Tokarev take a couple of wins in the challenges we had the first half of this year. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do in this championship now. We drop back to P5 in AM. Neil Bamber in his 296, the privateer. Got a bit of a gap to the car in front, which is the Porsche. That is for position as well, but then he's got a lot of drivers on the rear end of him. A bit of a train forming behind. Alexandru is the car in front, and then it's Alvaro, Borgesarzo, Adrian, and Casper. That's a lot more cars in that train just behind. Lange, P24 in the pro category as well, just in that mix ahead of him. Here is Borgesarzo. This is a replay on the left-hand side of your screen, coming through the Schumacher S's. Not sure who this is, just running over the curb and immediately pulling to the inside. I wonder if that was a bit of a off-track that gave a slowdown penalty towards that driver. And there, look, you see the pro driver just tapping the rear of Lopez. This is on board the pro driver at the time. Not sure who it was, but just into the rear of the AM leader. And you don't really need to do that. Plenty of time at the hairpin. And that's what happened to Vlad Tokarev. Went for a gap that was not really on. And just taps the rear of the car in front. He loses all momentum. As Casper, now P9 in the AM class, is in this train. And he's wanting to get through quite a few Porsches in the AMs, trying to get ahead. And he's trying to get that better run, and tucks underneath the car in front. That is Adrian Pereira ahead of him. Getting alongside, getting more and more of that car up his inside line. In towards turn 1 he goes. And Tunstead now has that inside line. Does he get it done? Yes, he does. So he can easily now defend turn two. Turn two. And Casper, good move. Set that up through the last corner, and it was nicely done. But he's now just got to try and fend him off as he comes through the back of the pack. Serrani here. Down in 15th place in class, on the rear of Duffner. He's trying to come back through the field. He's up three places. He's going to try and make some more positions if he can. Obviously wants to be in that top 5 at the end of the season to score some prize money. Bartolo leads this race, 1.2 seconds overall. Just under 11 minutes in this race now then. Look at this bit of action in the background here. Asani loses out there. That's a place lost for him. Jorge Garcia, 7th in the pro class. Drive-through penalty complete for Francisco Lopez after the AM qualified. Right, so there we go. Francisco Lopez, drive-through penalty for qualifying still during the pro qualifying session. So he completed laps outside of his session. So there is the penalty for the drivers at qualifying the wrong session. And he was the race leader. He's down to 18th in class and now has that drive-through penalty. He's got time to come back, plenty of time to go in this race. So he's still got time he can make up and try and get the best out of it. Drive-through penalty as well for Oleski. Again, same penalty really. We saw that there was a couple of drivers out there doing laps when they shouldn't have. And there he is, 2nd in class as well. Oleski Partanen. Drive-through penalty for him. 2nd place as well, and on the back of the leader in the category. So he's going to have to fight back in this one, but still plenty of time left in this race. Just over 45 minutes left here. He's on the back of the leader for the class lead. Here's David in P10 in that class, in the Porsche, the German driver for NJB Performance. Trying his best to just stay on the back. A lot of Porsches in the AMs, a lot of Ferraris in the pros. Seems to be the favoured car choice. 10-second post-race penalty to Zach Rattery White. That is for causing a collision. Well, where is Zach out there at the moment? That is the pro driver up the order. Currently in 11th place. He's got a 10-second post-race penalty. So that'll be added to his time at the end of the race. Here's Mika in P23 in class, trying to get on the back of Vlad Tokrev and the Ford Mustang of Rosseth in front of him. Down 17 places. Not the best of starts to his race for Mika. That's the driver that was spun around at turn 3. There's Hendrik. Zilke. He just lost a car in the background. I wonder if that's just a few internet problems there with his connection. It's reappeared now, so all still fine at the moment. 12th in that Amcatter. It's great to see so many cars out on the circuit. It's great to see them all still pretty close together as well. And just using that strategy to try and find where to overtake, to try and see where the car in front is better or worse. And at the moment, it is a game of chess and about what you can do in that last 10 or 15 minutes of this race. Set yourself up now for a good finish. Vlad Tokrev has got ahead of the Ford Mustang of Rosseth in front, so Vlad's made up a move. And that's brought the other Ferrari 296 onto the back of the Ford Mustang as well. Mika is right on the rear wing of the Ford Mustang behind. Not that you could see it, the Ford's that big. But for Vlad Tokrev, 21st place now. He's down 6th place, obviously, due to that spin. Oh, I say spin. Half a spin for himself. And he now has to try and progress up the field. He's 1.2 off the next car in front, which is Klassen's. But Vlad has the pace at the moment of the cars around him. He's matching what everybody's doing around him at the moment. Quicker on the last lap, though, than the Ford Mustang by 0.7 of a second. And Mika behind is actually quicker than that, so he's going to want to try and make up a few places after his spin at turn 2. Casper Tunstead up 4 places into P8 in class. Drive-through penalty for Mika. And that is for the collision with Lopez at Dunlop on turn 4, on lap 4, sorry. So it was Mika trying to get back through the field that hit Lopez and span the race lead around. He's been given a drive-through penalty. I don't know if we've seen any of the cars in for a drive-through penalty yet. Mika is in, as is Alexei then. So a few of the drivers taking their drive-throughs right now as we say that. Mullick, David Mullick, P10 in class overall. And they're obviously going to pick up a couple of places overall for those who are in for their drive-through penalties. That's going to hurt a few of them pro drivers who's had to tumble down the standings now and are going to be behind the AMs. No, they've got the pace, but it's that patience you've got to have as well to get past these drivers. It's all good having the pace. If you can't get past them, you're going to run the risk of getting penalised. Duffner moves up into P12 on the leaderboard now. And Mullick just having a look up the inside. Can't get anything done there. Great little race so far. Barter leading overall. 1.8 seconds in the lead of this race. Windscreen wipers on. No threat of rain. 2%, I believe, was the call at the very end of the race of a chance of rain. So very minimal. And this is Sergio Durant going around the outside of Partanen. Partanen manages to hang on to that position. They're down in 20th place in category at the moment. There's a car off, not sure who that is. That is Neil Bamber off the road. Was that himself? Was there an incident somewhere? Not quite sure. Manages to rejoin safely though. Only lost a couple of positions due to that off track. Not sure what happened there though, so hopefully we can bring a replay of what's just happened there. Doesn't look too disgruntled, so was it his own mistake? Obviously, race control will be taking a look at that just to make sure nobody was involved in an incident. He's down in P10. We didn't get a few of the drivers take to the start of this race. We didn't get to see the Corvette out there. Luke Pennington's not taken to the start of this race, I noticed, as well. So that's a shame to see. A couple of drivers already have retired from this race also. This is Gabriel in second place. It looks like he's sat on a dining room chair. Whatever makes you as comfortable as possible. At the moment, down then towards the Dunlop curve comes Gabriel. This is a replay of what happened. This is coming, oh, just on the curb. Said about them raised curbs, just got up on the curb. He's hit the brakes and the car's just gone straight. Rejoins offline. Look at this, this is on board. You see he's hit the brake. You see the revs drop, but just didn't want to turn off the curb. So, yeah, not what the driver would have wanted. Back on board, though, with the live action. Gabriel here in second place. You can see Barter just ahead, 2.1 seconds. And you can see the gap behind to Ericsson. It's a decent gap. So he's sitting comfortable, is Gabriel at the moment. Looks like he's able to just control this pace at the moment. Just looking at the lap times last time around, lost a 10th to Kim Ericsson behind him. You know, he's matching them around him though, so what he's doing is fantastic. Here is Zach Rattery White. We know he's got that 10-second time penalty hanging over his head at the end of the race. He's on the back of Angelo Mikel. This is looking from the rear of Mikel. The German driver down the start straight in the Porsche. Under braking, Ferrari has a look. And it's just a look only. Mikel, well, I don't think he got the best of runs out of there. And I don't think the Ferrari did either. As now he really gains mid-corner through turn 2. Look at the 296 gaining just behind. Starts to have a peak. Ooh, that was close to the rear of Angelo Mikel. The New Zealander just behind. Obviously needs to get a move on with that 10-second penalty hanging over his head. He's got to make sure that gap's there at the end of this race. And it's going to be the end of this race where we're going to really see these gaps open up, I do believe. Alvaro in P4. That is lap 2 incident. No further accident due to netcode for John Jennings and Zane Khan on lap 2. So it was a netcode incident that will bring no further action to that one. Race control deciding that that is fair enough. Adrian Pereda in that black Porsche, just being cautious through Dunlop. He didn't want to get too close to the car, the Porsche in front. Nearly got collected by the Porsche behind. So in a little bit of a sandwich. Coming up through the Schumacher crashes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Porsches all in a row. Before you get to the next car in front. That is a slow Porsche. That is Tunstall here, who was just ahead. I didn't see anything happen there. Maybe a slowdown. I'm not too sure. But he's tumbled down the order. Has Tunstall here. Matthias in the pink Ferrari. Lovely looking decal on that car. Through the chicane they go. He's going to have a look up the inside of Serini in front. Sorry, it's not Serini, of Zilke in front, sorry. Doesn't make the move happen, though. Looking racy, though, is Matthias here. So is he going to have a look down the inside in towards turn 1? Has a look now. Later on the brakes. No, thinks better of it. It's too far back. Probably the sensible move. Get the run out of turn 1. More beneficial. Porsche seems to get a better exit out of turn 1 than the Ferrari. So not to be for Matthias this time around. Out to the Mercedes arena. Whoa, little slide through there as he goes over the curb onto the runoff. Manages to keep it all together. Has not lost too much momentum. Just dropping downhill, clipping the curb. P13 in the AM class at the moment. Doing a stellar job. Here is Miguel Beltran. P8 in that class at the moment as well. Gained that place obviously due to Tunstall dropping down the order. Interesting to see what he can do. Battle on just in front of him. That is Mullick, who's having a look on the back of Pereda. To no avail, though. Borges Arzo's just ahead. Not running his minty green colour that we normally see Borges Arzo in. And now, Mullick still just having a look, but that's all it is. Through the chicane they go, now towards the final corner. Can you set up out this final corner down towards turn 1? Yellow Porsche just in front. It looked like he had a bit of a slide on his own, and that says put him on the back foot down the straight. Jan Duffner in that orange and blue Porsche. Nice colour scheme on the car. Getting pretty close to Serini in front. Now he's going to have a look up the inside going into turn 1. Fully alongside. Up he goes. Great move. I don't think he's got it done at the moment so far. And he's going to have to tuck back in. Can he just try and get underneath for turn 3? No, he can't. Didn't get the momentum through the corner. So Duffner and Tunstall here, the two that's having the battle. And Jan Duffner, great little chance, but it was to no avail. But now Tunstall's going to know that he's under pressure in this race. Pit window is approaching around that 35-minute mark, we reckon. Here is your race leader in the AM category then, Eno Varvanen, P1 in the Lamborghini Evo. And that is the Audi of Langer behind him. That is a pro driver behind. You can tell by the race banner. The AMs have the darker blue banner and wing mirrors. The banner above the windscreen, obviously. And the pros have the lighter blue Racing Unleashed banner across the top so that you can identify who is which category driver. So Langer, the car behind. It's Langer lapping in comparison, yeah, pretty similar. A couple of hundredths in it on the last lap. So Ido doing a fantastic job out there at the moment. This is into that pro battle. Here is Justin Klassen coming down the start straight in his Ferrari 296. On the back of, not really close enough to the car in front. Has got Tokarev gaining on the back of him. We saw Tokarev earlier in this race. He had his own moment. So he's trying to recover. Klassen's up 5 places though from the start. Good start for Klassen's. Really has been. It's going to be interesting. We're nearly at half distance here. 25, 26 minutes gone in this race. Christian now P15. Now I believe that to me looks like our race lounge manager from Madrid on that webcam footage. So our lounge manager, I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, has decided to come and have a go today. He's under a bit of pressure from the Porsche behind him, who's just going to try and stick a nose up the inside. Not quite alongside though, as the sun is rising here at the Nurburgring. Oh, he's got a great run now as they come downhill. Got a great run. I believe the Ferrari just dropped a wheel into that gravel trap. Now side by side as they come up towards the chicane. And Christian tucks him behind. And has to go again in that Ferrari. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, thank you, Fabio, who's just confirming that. So our lounge manager from Madrid is in this race in the M category. So it's great to see the lounge managers actually get the chance to have a go here. Obviously, we'll see more from Christian as the Assetto Corsa's Championship rolls on later in the year. But Kim Eriksson currently P3 in this race at the moment in his Ferrari. Just getting a little closer to that of Gabriel just in front for P2. This is overall in the race as well, in the pro section of the circuit. That gap's down to 0.6 of a second, and he's just been chipping a couple of tenths away each lap. There's the graphic to show you what they've brought the gap down lap by lap. He's just chipped away. It's nothing major from Ericsson at the moment, just slightly chipping away as this race goes on. And this is going to be an interesting one to see what will happen. We're predicting here in the studio around the 35-minute mark. Don't forget, they're only running at 60% fuel capacity. A bit of side-by-side action here for Luke Langer in his Porsche. And that is the Ferrari up the inside. Out of the arena he comes, and that Ferrari gets the place. That is Partanen who gets ahead. Langer's not done with this one, though, at the moment. He wants to come back in this fight. He's going to have a look around the outside, but he's not going to make it stick through there. Alexei Partanen, then the Finnish driver who had the drive-through penalty, was second in the class at the time, if you remember. Had the drive-through penalty for continuing to qualify during the pros qualifying, so he's now trying to fight his way back through. He's up to 14th place. Langer's still up 6 places at the moment. So he's having a good little ride of it himself. Now, Laubish is in the pits. We predicted that 35-minute mark. Ooh, a bit of a wiggle in the background. But Laubish is in the pits. No, this surely is for a stop. Yeah, in he comes to his box. That's a bit earlier than we predicted, but it's around about halfway through the race that he's decided, I'm going to pull the trigger now. Get it done early, get out and go. Couple of other drivers as well in the pits. Langer decided to pit as well. Laubish on his way out was stationary for 16 seconds. And Langer, who is also in there, sorry, that decided to not change properly there. Either way, Laubish in and out. Lap 15 he's pitted on of this hour-long race. Stephen Ash now then 7th overall in the pro category. And here is Johan Langer coming out the pits in his Audi, 24th in category. His pit stop 21 seconds. He's come out the pits way down. Wesley Cates here. Currently 18th in that AM category, the American driver. Oh, the Audi's lost it. Round he goes. A little hot into the corner there. And the Audi paid the price. And for Calaboig, drive-through penalty for Mika. That was for the collision with Duffner. He is 23rd in the pro category. And there he is, look, on the back of the pack in this battle. Now that is his, I believe, is that his second drive-through? Oh, there we go. Just pushes the Porsche around. And again, that's twice today we've seen with Mika. He's got to come through this field of the AMs, and just that little bit of impatientness, look, too eager on the throttle, and spins yet another AM around, and that is twice in this race. He's paid the price, and that'll be another drive-through penalty. And well, what a shame for him, because he's clearly got the pace. And we said earlier after his first one, he's got the pace. It's just having that awareness with the slower cars around you to know what you're doing. Alexandru now comes into the pits, was inside the top three before pitting. Mika is also in the pits as well. That could be to serve his drive-through penalty. There's a couple of cars ahead also in the pits. Bit of side-by-side action. Marcus Valverde is, look who he's trying to fend off. That is the lounge manager from Madrid. No headband for Valverde today. So clearly only wears them in the simulators. Can get very hot in them in the racing lounges that we used to see. But he's got the manager right behind him. You would not want to make contact in this. So then Marcus, what can you do? You've got a bit of a train behind you. Looking at his gap, he's 1.7 behind that of the next car in category. Obviously pit stop starting to be pulled now. Going to be interesting to see. Now Gabriel up front as well. That gap is closed within 0.3 of a second to Kim Eriksson. So Gabriel over time has just lost a bit of time to the leader. And here is Kim Eriksson, look, just gaining on the back of second place. Like we said, he's just slowly chipped away. The lap times are not too dissimilar that I can see in front of me here. Every time I've noticed it has been a tenth or two. And again, last lap, it is literally a matter of hundredths. That he was actually slower than Gabriel. So is that because he's now getting a bit close, feeling the pressure? There is the gaps that Eriksson has pulled over Gabriel in second place recently. More drivers into the pits. We said around that 35-minute mark. So is that when we're going to see a few of the drivers come in? I thought that was a bit of a moment there for Eriksson. He looks like he didn't even save that. So that might have just been my eyes deceiving me, but it looked like it unsettled the car just a little bit. And Eriksson now really starting to put the Ferrari ahead under pressure. Again, he's got a good gap behind to Lewis Woods in P4. Borja Zarzo's now into the pit lane. A lot of drivers starting to come in. So Borja Zarzo into the pits. This is going to be an interesting one to see going forward in this race, and obviously in this championship as well, to see what the drivers will be able to do. Nico Mossa to the outside. He's in the BMW. Another BMW M4 involved there, and then the Ferrari 296 just in front, and Mossa coming under a bit of pressure from the M4 behind. Manages to hold on to it so far, though. And that's been the story of this racing so far today. You 1 minute on the attack, your next minute on the defence, and no matter where you look in this pack, there is just a good group of cars having a great battle. So far, Barta leads in the in the Pro from Eno Varvanen in the AM category then. As Gabriel decides to come into the pit lane. He's going to make his stop on the 34-minute mark now then. They start to see the drivers already look on the leaderboard who's pitted. Laubish is the man who's pitted. 16 seconds was his pit stop. For Gabriel right down the bottom end of the pit lane. There's Angelo Mikel coming into turn one. Up into P8. Rattery White just in front of him. Gabriel is Bit of a long pit stop, 17.3 seconds. That little bit longer, obviously. Fuel would have just come out the car over the last couple of laps. He's had to fill up a little bit more. It's Fabio Vertigan. Nico Mossa is our technician at Racing Unleashed. So there we go. Not just the lounge managers, but the technicians as well out there on the circuit tonight. So a lot of Racing Unleashed representatives on the track. And Nicholas Laubish down in 21st, really opened the gates for the pit window. And is a couple of seconds off the back of Gabriel already. So he's pulled a decent strategy at the moment. He's about 2 seconds off the back. The thing for Gabriel now is he's got the leaders in the AM category ahead of him. He doesn't want to get himself a penalty by getting involved in an incident with them. He'll want to keep it nice and calm and be patient, but at the same time, not lose too much time behind them. Hopefully everybody's going to come into the pits. Look at this little squabble. Lewis Woods, 3rd place in category, comes flying past the red and black Ferrari. And he has got Lucas Prada up the rear end, and he's pulled it into the pit lane. Prada doesn't want to get involved. He's trying to undercut him. Alex now P9 overall. As the Porsche comes into the pit lane, that was Angelo McKellen, leaving it very, very late to these drivers to call it into the pit lane. So Prada in the pits, Mikel into the pits, Ferguson as well into the pits. So Alex here does have a bit of a gap now behind him and in front of him. He can just control what he's doing as they come through. Look at how many cars now starting to pit in that pro category. Leader of AM still going, moving up the order. While 2nd place in AM has decided to come into the pit lane. Gabriel gets ahead as well. So Ronaldo Carlos then pulls it into the pit lane, the Brazilian driver. Was 2nd in class before he pulled it into the pits. And everybody now exits pit lane. The problem is, there is quite a few AMs, I believe, at the moment. The top lot have just started to pit. Still a lot of AMs. In fact, the AMs, we haven't seen their pit stops. They've all done their pit stops earlier on. So that'll be why there's going to be no traffic coming through the back end of this circuit. This is Daniel Ferguson. Come out the pits, 18th place. He's down 2 positions, but obviously drivers in his category still to pit. So we're going to have that waiting game for all them to peel in. And Angelo Mikel 19th. So Ferguson got the jump on Mikel, did he? During that pit stop. Just trying to see the pit times. Yeah, he did as well. Gained 3 seconds in the pit lane. So Mikel had a long stop there. Possibly not calculated his fuel right. Hopefully the car in front has. No, that is Stephen Ash, who is P5 in the category. Top 3 pit then. Barta, Ericsson, Woods, Garcia, Ash, all in the pits now. So this is where we're going to start seeing them. Zachary White into the pits. Alex carries on his way here, so he feels like he can go and do another lap. Well, let's see. As does Van der Niese and Justin Claessens and Vlad Tokarev. And the Ford Mustang of Eric Rosseth then. So this is going to be an interesting one. The leader in AM now comes into the pits as well. Hugh Barter out the pit lane, 15.9 seconds. It's down the start line. There you go. Gabriel did get back up to what looks to be a net 2nd place. No, it's a net 3rd. Kim Eriksson has jumped him in the pit lane. So Eriksson going a little longer than Gabriel here has managed to jump ahead of him in the pits. So that is a fantastic stop. He was actually about 0.6 quicker in the pit lane than Gabriel, and he was right up the rear end coming into the pits. So Gabriel losing out a place then after the pit stops. And Ericsson has lost out to Lewis Woods as well. So Lewis Woods has gained time. So Woods is now net 2nd place from Kim Eriksson. And then it is Gabriel in net P4 at the moment when everybody else decides to come into the pit lane. So there's top 5 yet to pit in class. Leader in AM yet to pit as well is what we're seeing. So very, very interesting race so far. And the pros pulling the strategy and getting ahead there. Right, Sergio Duran now coming out of the pits. Down in 14th place, Borja Zarzo as well as exiting the pit lane. Kate coming out. There is Borja Zarzo. Can't get behind him. Now Alex is in. 40 minutes gone in this race, 20 minutes left to go. Get it stopped. You don't want a speeding penalty in the pit lane, and Alex straight into the pits. Is there a Porsche staying out? No, Van der Niese is in, so that must be a lapped car. In comes Tokarev and Claessens. I imagine Rossith's going to follow in as well. There he is, the big Mustang in the background. So that is the top 5 into the pits. Hugh Barter is going to come through and regain this race lead. He's got a great gap over that of Lewis Woods, who now starts to come through. And we can see that that gap is 5 seconds to Lewis Wood. Ericsson on the back of him, Gabriel on the back of him, Prada on the back of Gabriel as well. So a great fight at the top end of the pro field. Miguel Beltran here, he's lost it on his own. Drops the rear of the car. And he's tumbling down the standings. Oh, careful on the rejoin, manages to get it A-OK. Down into P12 in class. Who's this leaving the pits? That's the leader, sorry, entering the pit lane of the pro category. So out comes the Mustang P19 overall of Eric Rossith. And that is Varvanen taking the race lead back in the AM category with Ronaldo Carlos in second place. We've got a pro driver separating them, and the pro driver trying to get past Varvanen at the moment. So here is Eric Rossith then. Currently 19th overall in the Ford Mustang. A bold choice for the Norwegian driver to pick that. The only Mustang out there. Well, let's see how it develops throughout the season. Let's see how Eric can do. Obviously, the drivers have got to qualify each week for this. Good battle here. Alexandru, 7th in class so far. Looking to try and get past Partonen just in front. This is for 6th and 7th in the M category. So a good start to this race. Few incidents. That is a drive-through penalty for Casper. I believe that is. Can't quite see it. Yep, Casper Tunstead for the collision with Borja Zarzo on lap 20. I don't think we've seen that one. But a drive-through penalty for Casper Tunstead. He's down in 8th in class, just behind this fight. There is Gabriel P4 trying to get back onto the podium where he was. Borja Zarzo's down in P14, so Casper Tunstead there, drive-through penalty for his incident. Gabriel now just trying to fend off that of Prada behind. The Czechia driver coming through the pack nicely, just slowly losing a bit of touch on Ericsson and Woods in front. Woods defending from Ericsson. I say defending, nobody's really driving a defensive line at the moment, but he'll be watching and seeing if Ericsson's going to try and make a move. Great driving, though, from these front 4 drivers, or the top 5 in the pro category. Barter, though, has just gone. He has left the pack. Nicely done into the Dunlop curve once again by Prada, managing to just not collect. Now, Laubish here, who was the man who pulled the trigger on the pit stops, he sat just a couple of seconds off this pack. So if these start really having a bit of a squabble, Laubish could be in the chance of maybe picking up 1 or 2 places, depending what happens. Tunstead in for his drive-through penalty. That is going to drop him down the order. And behind Borja Zarzo, you would assume. Not sure where Borja Zarzo's gone. Yeah, he's already dropped behind him. Tunstead comes out 21st in class now, so he's lost out massively here in this race. Prada at the moment trying to go on the back of him. This is the replay. The Borja Zarzo on the outside, and yeah, is that what happened? No, this is Tunstead then. Oh, he just spins Borja around. Yeah, so this Borja Zarzo on the outside. This is on board with Tunstead then. So the Ferrari pushes Borja literally shoulder to shoulder off. Borja is come, you know, front wheel to rear wheel, spins the Ferrari, and Tunstead just drives into the back of Borja and spins him around. It was all a little, you know, a little squabbling from all the drivers there. But yeah, Tunstall spinning Borges Arzo into the wall. That'll be damage to Borges Arzo for sure. Back on with Prada on the back of Gabriel, though. This is for 5th and 4th in this pro category. 2 in front, just slowly creeping away a little bit from Gabriel. That gap's up to 0.7 of a second. So still there, but just slowly creeping away. And Hugh Barter has just left them for dust here. That is Miguel Beltran, who is stationary at the chicane. Couple of cars there came very close to just chopping the nose off at the chicane. Stay still, got to be patient, Miguel. And he's decided to take that back and try and rejoin after the chicane. So now everybody goes through. So a mistake there. Fernando Murbas down in 20th place in the category of Pro. Trying to gain on the Ford Mustang in front. In the Audi Sim Sport car. Prada's got past Gabriel, it says on the timing screens now, so Prada's managed to find his way through. They've dropped off the back of Ericsson a little bit, and yes, look, Prada moves up into P4. So a great opportunity now at a podium if he can drop Gabriel and get on the back of the 2 in front. There in the background is Laubish, who's not made much inroads. Couple of tenths again over the cars in front. Gabriel just dying at the end of this race. You just feel these lap times are coming off. This is a replay on the left-hand side of the screen of what happened to the Porsche that was stuck in the gravel. And again, the rear just went on its own. Possible netcode, not too sure. No, I don't think it's going to be from there. Just drops the rear on his own. Very strange. So Lucas now then up to P4. Can he start to pull away from Gabriel and get on the back of Ericsson as we come into the final 13 minutes of this race? It is Barter from Lewis Woods, from Kim Ericsson, your leaders and podium places in the pro category. In the AMS, it is Eno Varvanen from Ronaldo Carlos, from David Mullick in P3 in the AM category then. Aleski Partonen, P5 in AM. Had that drive-through penalty early on for a qualifying procedure. And he's coming through the pack nicely up the inside. That's as easy as you like. Sensible move, lovely move. And can move on now to try and chase down after Mullick. He's some 4 seconds behind him, I do believe, in class. Mullick's got Mika behind him, who's had 2 incidents in this race of hitting AM drivers. And has got 2 drive-throughs for it, so he's got to be patient trying to pass Mullick. But yeah, Partonen is about 4.5 seconds behind Mullick for a chance of a podium. Racing incident between Beltran and Serrani at the final chicane, lap 23. Bit of rubbing doors that then cost the Porsche to spin into the gravel. And this is Luca Close, who is trying to defend from Cates on the back of him. Trying to come through once again. Luca at the moment doing everything he can to try and stay in front. Oh, gets a big wallop up the rear. Manages to hold it together at the moment, but that was a huge shunt. Now drops a wheel onto the gravel. It's a little tit for tat at the moment out there on the racetrack. This is for P14 and 15. Lopez, the pole sitter and race leader for a while, is 16th place. He's just behind them. He'll want a couple more places here for a few more points in this championship standings. You've got to appreciate a good head tilt, and that's what we're getting right now on the webcam. Alex, P10 in class in his Lamborghini. He's got Ferguson in the Audi just behind him. Just keeping an eye on the timing screens. Mullick is on the back of Ronaldo Carlos for 2nd and 3rd in the AM category. This is Alex trying to defend from Ferguson in the Lamborghini and Audi. Coming into the final 10 minutes of the race. And so far, so good at the moment. It's been a great drive, you have to say, for Barter out front, 6 seconds in the lead. And he's not, you know, he's not pulled away at a great rate of knots. He's just gone about his business, took control of this race, and that's all he's needed to do. And it is a very controlled race from the young man, who has done fantastic stuff. Woods just gained on him a little bit last lap, but with 10 minutes to go, and we're lapping at 1 minute 54, so it's nearly 2 minutes a lap. You're not looking at many laps left in this race. Ericsson in third, still on the back of Woods. Gerardo's got that gap down to 7/10. So he's coming, and he's managed to just slowly pull away from Gabriel a little bit as well. Oh, he's not now! All on his own, he's lost the rear. Possibly pushing a little too hard. He's lost the rear of the car just as he was making inroads on that podium spot. He's dropped to P6 behind Laubish. Ash is now on the back of him, or trying to be, but wow, just a mistake all on his own. You've got to feel for him. He's going to be kicking himself at the end of the race tonight. Angel Almaraz trying to get closer to Tunstead. Tunstead obviously after serving his drive-through penalty. And Mullick has been passed by Mika, who was the pro driver trying to get back through the field. That has put Alexei Partanen 2.9 seconds off the back of Mullick in that battle for the podium in AM. This is Almaraz, though, for 19th place in the AM category. Tunstead got pace. We've seen him have pace. He's been inside that top 10. Not really seen the best of the BMW M4s today. Oh, Almaraz going to look for a late lunge and brushes the rear bumper of Tunstead in front. Closer, gets past Cates. Up the order, Jorge Garcia in P8 now, coming through the final chicane. He's got Rattery White, who will have that 10-second time penalty added to his time, which will drop him down to about 15th place at the end of this race. Rattery White will want to get on with this. And if you're Garcia, you don't want to possibly lose too much time to get the Lamborghini of P10 on the back of you. But he probably won't know there's a 10-second penalty hanging over the head of Rattery White, who's going to look up the inside and thinks better of it. And Garcia can carry on his way once again. There's a replay coming into turn 3. And that is Prada losing the rear all on his own. You just see the correction. Came in a little too hot. This is from Gabriel behind, and just look at the rear, just let go on the corner exit. Did not want to straighten up and flick back to the right. It just let go. So easily done, but at such a crucial stage of the race. Your heart goes out to Prod there, down in P6. He's now got to try and not let it happen again, I suppose, and allow Ash and a few others to maybe get through. This is still Garcia with Rattery White on the back of him. The P9 and 8 in this Pro Series. Rattery White will know he's got the penalty. Garcia won't. So going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on at the end of this race. Just looking at the timing screens again, Alexei Partisan, sorry, is 2.6 now, so he's chipping away at Mullick every lap. Took 3/10 out of him last time around. An interesting one coming into that last 6 minutes of this race. Lap 29 we're on. And this is Rattery White on the back of Garcia. 4P, 8 and 9 in the Pro category. Down the start-finish line to start their next lap. 54.5 minutes gone. Is he going to think of pulling out to the inside? He does later on the brakes. The Garcia in front gets it stopped on the apex. Does he carry the momentum through the corner? He does. What can Garcia do though? Because he's still up the inside. Comes back at him into turn 2. Great bit of racing this from these two. And Garcia will still have that inside line for turn 3. He'll be on the outside though for 4. And Rattery White has now got the move done. And that was a fantastic bit of racing side by side for 2 corners. And White can be very happy with that manoeuvre there. Now knows that he's got 5 minutes to push on and gain as much time as he can to get that 10-second gap. Not over Garcia, it's not possible, but where will he drop to? Again, he's still going to drop to about 15th place mark. Needs about 3 more seconds to get over Van der Niese. So he's got work to do. This is Lewis Wood, still with Ericsson on the back of him, with 5 minutes left. Gabriel's not been able to go with them, so he's just dropped off at the back end of this race as Gabriel. But Ericsson, he currently sat on a podium, and he's going to want to, you know, get as much out of this race as he can. Woods will take a 2nd place. No one been on the level of Barter today. He's just been unbeatable in qualifying and in the race. Laubish is in the pit lane, so did he go too early? Did he underfuel and he's had to top up at the end? A miscalculation from Nicholas Laubish has cost him a top 5 finish in this race. This will literally be a splash and dash at the very end, but miscalculation from the young man drops him outside the top 10, look. And this could drop him even further if he just drove through the pit lane. Now, I'm not sure if he had a drive-through penalty. I saw nothing on my screen, so interesting. Not sure what's happened there. So he must not be light on fuel. He's still going now. There was another car in the pits behind him as well. I'm not sure who that was. This is Tokarev. He's down 3 places from where he qualified. He's up to 18th, though, after his own moment. Battling with yet another Ferrari of Valverde, that is, just in front. 10-second penalty for Luca Closer. Incident with Lopez at turn 1 on lap 28. So that's a 10-second penalty for Closer to have over his shoulders at the end of this one. For Vlad Tokarev, won a couple of the challenges here at Racing Unleashed earlier in the year. And Marcus Valverde, the Challenger League runner-up from last season on the Assetto Corsa platform, he's going to want to do as best he can here. This is a replay of what happened at turn 1. This is Lopez. Now being tapped around. He got up the inside and he just tapped around there. Portanan, P3, 1.7 off the back, P4 at the minute. He's 1.7 off the back of Mullick at the moment. So trying to maybe get inside that top 3. Angelo Mikel, though, going side by side and up the inside at the chicane. Lovely move from Mikel, and Higgins makes a late dive back up the inside. Angelo Mikel managed to not be caught napping there and didn't turn in on him. Trying to have that run down the start-finish line. This is all for 11th place in this pro category. Mikel can't go any further up the inside. He's going to pull to the outside now. You've got Laubish just in the background and that of Van der Niese. And Mikel trying to be pushed as far out as he could go back up the inside for turn 2. Could be a great move this from Angelo Mikel. They just rub doors a little bit. Laubish fancies the look up the inside now as well. All kicking off late on in this race. Mikel spun off. Well, someone was going off at some point. They'd rubbed doors through the first 3 corners. And Angelo Mikel comes off worst down to P16th. Laubish got all actually past the pair of them up to 11th place. What a shame, but Angelo Mikel is probably not going to be able to do anything about that. We're at 10-second stop-go penalty for Louis Hesketh after contact on lap 2. We're on the track. Is Barter. Will we get one more lap in the bag? Believe we will. I don't think this is the white flag yet. I think that'll be next time around. This is Alexei Partanen, who is gaining on Mullick. You saw Mullick just ahead of him. That gap is down to 1.4 seconds. And I believe there's going to be one more lap to go. Not sure where Barter is on the circuit. surely there will be a final lap here. So Barter currently leading this race overall. Partonen is going to try and get that P3. He'll have 2 laps to go. He'll have the rest of this lap and 1 more to really attack. This one's all going to be about closing that gap, possibly too far behind. The checkered flag hasn't flown to Barter. Did start 1 last lap, I assume. 5.4 seconds. Woods to Ericsson. Ericsson and Woods having a great scrap as well for 2nd and 3rd in the pro category. There they are, coming down towards the Dunlop curve. So Barter, 5 seconds in front, probably gone round the Dunlop hairpin up towards the Schumacher S's already. Barter from Woods, from Ericsson, top 3 in the AM. It's Harvinen, then it is Ronaldo, Carlos and Mullick. Mullick coming under some pressure from Partonen, 4P3 in that category. On board with Ericsson now. Couple of corners left to go. Running out of time to get past Woods, and he's not close enough, you have to say, to get this job done. This is the final lap of the race, though. Few good scraps towards the end of this one, and it's going to go the way of Barter overall, who's coming through the final chicane. What a job for this young man. He's drove a flawless race, a flawless qualifying, and really deserves this race win. He exits the final corner. Hugh Barter takes the race win in the Ferrari and in the pro category. What a job for the young man. Lewis Woods comes across the line, 2nd place. Ericsson in P3. Vlad Tokarev still in a fight. 4P18 out there then, just awaiting the rest of the finishers. Gabriel P4, Prada P5, Ash P6, Rasri White P7, Garcia's crossed the line P8, P9 for Ngui, Ferguson P10, Laubish P11, Van den Nisse P12, Baker P13. Vlad Tokarev just runs out of time to get towards the line. Higgins from Classens, Mikel Valverde, Tokarev, Rossif, de Murbas. And this, look, is your race leader in the AM category. Langer, the pro behind him. That's not a battle for the lead. It's going to be Eno Verhavenen who will take the AM win. Great stuff for him. Langer will take 23rd in the pro class. And has Mullick. Partonen's actually got past Mullick for P3. So the final podium spot is going to go the way of Partonen. Carlos comes across P2. And Partonen does get across the line ahead of Mullick. So Partonen on the podium. And across the line now a few of the pro drivers. The AM drivers, sorry, coming across. Hendrik Zilke coming across P9. De Molineux, P9, sorry, Sarni P10. Borges Arzo going to cross it for P12. But Partonen at the very end, we missed that one, as a battle still rages on through the final corner. Casper Tunstad, who had that drive-through penalty early doors, comes across P17. But what a race that was there, and Partonen managed to get on the podium at the very end, so a great drive for him to see. So there will be 6 very, very happy drivers in that race, that is for sure. It was a fantastic display of racing. A few little incidents that possibly drivers will need to look at going into the next race in trying to stop them errors, obviously, in 2 weeks' time in what's going to be a fantastic second round of the season. But what a race here at the Nurburgring. We'll be able to bring you some driver interviews. I hope we'll be able to bring you some driver interviews. Actually, I'm not hearing anything through the headset, so I'm not sure what we're going to be able to do. But that then is your final classification. Hugh Barter, race winner from Lewis Wood. Kim Ericsson, P3. Gabriel is P4 from Lucas Parda in P5. Stephen Ash, Zach Rattery White. With that 10-second penalty hanging over him, Jorge Garcia. Alex from Daniel Ferguson. Rounding out the top 10 then in that pro category. We're able to bring you the AM results as well as the, you see there, 23rd overall. Eno Verhaven is your race winner in AM. Ronaldo Carlos, P2 in AM. And Alexi Partonen, P3 in AM. Just ahead of David Mullick, Adrian Parida, Alvaro Alexander, Hendrik Zelke, and the rest of the drivers bringing up the rear of the grid. Tunstad down the order. after a drive-through penalty. A few drivers did take to the start. We lost a couple of drivers as well in the race. That's a shame to see them. But yeah, what a drive for the top three. Barter as well, not to be beaten in this race. Controlled the qualifying and controlled the race. We are going to, though, try and get the interviews underway momentarily, as we will just go to a quick ad break. So a quick change of the headset now. We can hear everybody in our area ready to do then the interviews with the drivers. And we can start with the P1 man overall today. Hugh Barter, I believe, can join us now. Hugh, it was a fantastic race from yourself and a great qualifying, really, that set it all up.
Yeah, it was a good race on my side of things. Really couldn't ask for much more. It was pretty chill up front. Basically, at the start, saving a little bit of fuel to try and not overfuel in the pit stop and get jumped. But it turned out that I had a big enough gap when I came in, so it was good.
Was good. It just looked like you was in control of that race yourself. Didn't really put a foot wrong and just managed that race. Yeah,
basically. Once I saw the gap open up, I just tried to stay calm and make the most of everything. And then when I caught the traffic, just making sure that I was passing them, in safe places and not trying to do anything too erratic.
Now, obviously, that puts you top of the championship standings going into that second week, but the qualification period will open that you've got to retry and qualify for that second race. Does that put pressure on you in this championship, knowing that qualification for each round is going to be difficult?
Yeah, I guess slightly. I mean, I would say this calendar suits me quite well, so I'm quite confident for the rest of the championship. Obviously, there is 2 drop rounds, so if I don't qualify or something goes wrong, maybe even my wheelbase fails, I do have a drop round to help out.
There we go then. Well, Hugh, it was a great race today. We look forward to seeing you in the next one. Congratulations on the race win. Enjoy that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Barter there then, the race winner overall and your pro race winner. And we can now speak with Lewis Woods out there as well. Lewis, P2 today. It was a lot of pressure though at the back end of the race, but you managed to come away with that podium.
Yeah, I mean, it all started with Coup really. I misjudged it where I thought I'd have extra time, so I missed out on the next lap, which would have been, I think, an easy P2. Yeah, there was enough chaos in the race. I kept it clean, so just about managed to make it work, especially with the pits. I think I gained a second half, maybe 2 seconds. And then it was just about managing the tyres to the end.
Managing the tyres to the end. You was under pressure though from Ericsson quite a lot at the end there, so you've got to be happy with your performance of being able to keep him behind you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did about the maximum with my pace. I was struggling a bit to keep the tyres under me in the first stint, especially with lap traffic. It kind of got in the way at times. It was a bit stressful, so just had to stay calm and just keep saving the tyres and stay up front.
Again, going into this season, the qualification period, does that put a little pressure on you going into each race, knowing that you've got to try and qualify to be on that grid?
Not so much, really. You still have to get a very clean lap in. Some of the quick guys were missing, so for sure I think you'd be on it for PQ to make it.
Well, Lewis, congratulations on the P2. Well done.
Thank you.
Lewis Woods there on his P2. We can speak with Kim Eriksson now, who got P3 in that race. Kim, an interesting race for yourself. You managed to get the jump in the pit lane to put you into that P3 spot, but you just couldn't get Woods at the end.
Yep. Hey guys. Yeah, that was an interesting race. I think I got jumped by Woods during the pits, and Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate, but let's put it to being rusty, I guess.
Being rusty. Take it you haven't raced in a while then, getting the practice in, obviously, for this event. It was a good fight from yourself, though. You kept him honest all the way to the end. The pressure was on him.
Yeah, indeed. It's been a while. I think I've been busy with work and everything, so haven't been racing too much. And this championship seemed like a perfect opportunity to get back into it. And yeah, I think this was quite the maximum. I'm really happy with the result. I was expecting a lot more harder opponents or challenge, but happy and surprised about how well I could manage.
Happy and surprised. Going forward into the rest of the season then with this championship at this time on a Sunday, does that give you plenty of opportunities maybe to improve as this season goes on?
Yeah, I definitely hope so. This time well, to be honest, didn't have too much preparation. Some practice, yes, but not as much as I would have liked. And I think now this result gives me motivation to do some more preparation and practice so I can properly challenge for the wins even.
Well, Kim, congratulations on the P3. Hopefully we see you back on the podium a lot more in the coming weeks throughout this championship. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
So that was Kim Eriksson there. P3, so that was the 1, 2, 3 in the pro category. And we can speak now with Harvinen in the AM category. Your race winner for AM, and that was an interesting race to say the least. But you really controlled it in that second half.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure the fuel was enough and there wasn't really a threat from behind. So there wasn't need to push too much. So I was just managing a bit.
Now tell us what it was like with the pro drivers coming through the pack, because we saw a couple of pro drivers get tangled up with the AM drivers throughout that race. Was it difficult? What was your thought pattern going when they come behind you? Was you letting them go or just trying to race your race?
I was trying to focus on myself and being a bit careful that just I don't get tangled up or anything, have a problem with them. So if they put the nose in on the inside, I just let them go. I didn't really fight with them because I didn't need to.
P1 though, good result for you. Great start to the championship in the season.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
Well, we'll let you get back. Yeah, well, congratulations. We'll let you get back to it. Well done on the race win today. Fantastic job.
Thank you.
And we can speak now with Partanen, who was P3, and he left it till the very, very last lap. That was a great result. We didn't get to see it live on the air, but just talk us through how you got the move done, because we saw you was gaining and gaining all on that last lap.
Yeah, so, well, it was like a really close, but I think the driver in front of me in the last lap, he had just a little bit less fuel than I, so I think that's why I got the overtake done, because it was really easy, like almost like a blue flag situation.
So potentially he was fuel saving there to just get to the end of the race.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk us through your race a little bit though, because I believe you had the drive-through penalty early on, which kind of put you on the back foot and you had to work through the field.
Yeah, so the drive-through, I didn't really know why I got it, but after I talked with my teammates, I think why I got it now, but I just said I have to focus even more and just go for it.
Yeah.
As fast as I can, and I got the exact minimum fuel at the pits. So I think this was just my pace that I had. I have really good feeling the whole race and all the pre-qualifying and everything about my pace. So
Yeah, it's good pace, and that's got to put you in a good mindset going into the rest of this championship, knowing that the pace is there to run at the front of the M category.
Yeah, I was a little bit actually surprised how good my pace was, even compared to the pro class. But yeah, good feeling for the next round and looking forward to the whole championship.
Indeed. Well, congratulations on the P3. We'll let you enjoy that one, and we hope to see you next time out there on the circuit.
Yeah, thank you, and see ya.
Alexi Partonen there then. We aren't going to be able to hear from Ronaldo Carlos, who was P2 in the AM class then. So what a day of racing, what an opener to this championship. Join us live in 2 weeks' time, where you'll be able to see all the action around. And I hope that Lee can bring us the calendar up on the screen again, so we can show you what is to come and which round is to come next. I believe we head stateside for the first of one of many trips to the American circuits that we have in store for you. But it's going to be a fantastic season, to say the least. It's going to be really action-packed. You're not going to want to miss this. Pre-qualifying, I believe, opens not this week, the week after, for that second round. So make sure you set your one valid lap's all you've got to do now as quick as you can. The top 30 drivers will get into the pro, and the top 30 will get into that category for that race. So make sure you're involved. Head down in that link below on the screen now to apexracingleague.com. That is where you can sign up and join the Racing Unleashed Discord to set your time to be involved in this next round of the championship. It is going to be an absolutely fantastic one, that is for sure. I'll be back though in 4 weeks' time for the third round of the season. I'm away for the second round, so hopefully whoever is in the seat doing the show brings you a fantastic one, as they probably will, as always. I'll be back though in 4 weeks' time to bring you round 3 and the remainder of the season. It's going to be an absolute belting championship. You're not going to want to miss this, as it already kicks off and begins in such a fantastic way around the Nurburgring. Until next time, goodbye.